2 days ago in Kuwait, an unsettling crime sent shockwaves through the nation. A Kuwaiti man boarded a plane after completing his travel procedures, but before takeoff, he made a chilling phone call to his eldest son. Calmly, yet cryptically, he instructed, "My son, go to my apartment, to my wife who is Syrian. Inform the police." And with that, he hung up. What the son discovered next would unravel a shocking mystery, one that no one saw coming. His son was terrified and scared. We didn't understand exactly what the matter was. He immediately rushed to his father's other house where his stepmother was. As soon as he opened the door, there was his stepmother, murdered, dead, lying on the floor. He called the operations, and the security men arrived and they removed the body. What is clear now is that the main suspect is the husband, but he has now fled. The work is now with Interpol, they are chasing him, and so on, and they will later know the details of his committing the murder of his second wife. Everyone who heard the story in the past 2 days says, "Brother, if you don't want her, if there are problems between you, it's impossible for you to settle and live, or for life to continue with her. Brother, divorce her. If she doesn't want you, divorce her. If you don't want her, divorce her. Divorce is what God has made a solution to the intractable problems between spouses. Holding together in kindness or separation with good conduct. He didn't tell you to kill her. He didn't tell you that you are, enslaving her, or that she is your property, and you can't control her, kill her, and not let her live. No, it's not up to you. If it's impossible to live with her, divorce her, and she goes her own way, and you go your own way. There are 1,000 other women who would accept you, and this woman, there are 1,000 men who would accept her, each according to his circumstances, and the matter ends. But to reach a murder in this horrific way, and you travel and leave your son to discover it, and he entered a long spiral. And where do you want to go? They will bring you. Even if you disappeared at the ends of the earth, there must be a day when you will be arrested, or you will die, and you will be held accountable before God. The matter of murder, this is something that is completely unacceptable, neither religiously, nor legally, nor customarily, nor even according to human law in general. This also reminded me of a case that happened in 2016. I brought it to you as a side note, which is the story of tonight. It happened in Mathana Governorate in Iraq, to a young man named Khaled, 32 years old, a handsome, educated, smart young man. But one day, while returning home at night, around 2 or 3 o'clock, he entered the building he lived in and went up to his apartment. After about half an hour, the building guard comes out to the sound of screaming and a thud on the ground. When he came out, there was Khaled, a corpse on the ground, and it was clear that he had fallen from the balcony of his apartment on the 4th floor. And the man was, shattered from the severity of the impact, and his blood was flowing all over the ground. Immediately, this guard informed the security authorities. He didn't touch the body or move it, or say, "Leave it as it is." He said, "Since the man is dead, the body must not be moved or examined except in the presence of security men, and to absolve himself of responsibility." Indeed, security men arrived and requested forensic evidence and forensic medicine. They asked the guard, "Do you know him?" He said, "Yes, he lives on the 4th floor with his wife, and they have a maid. They have no children." They asked the guard, "Did you inform the wife?" He said, "I didn't inform anyone. It's dawn now, and everyone is asleep, and I was frankly afraid to take any action." They said, "No. Excellent, excellent." They went up themselves and knocked on the apartment door. The wife was asleep, and the maid was asleep. They continued knocking on the door for a while until the wife woke up, terrified in the middle of the night. The door was being knocked on, and she was unaware of what was happening. She opened the door, and there were the police, and everything was turned upside down. He said, "You have the security men with you. And we came regarding the incident of Khaled, your husband. throwing himself from the balcony. What happened? They look at the balcony, and the scene is turned upside down below. She started screaming, having a hysterical fit, poor woman. The one living with her in the house, the maid, held her and calmed her down. They went to wake up the maid and bring her. She was also terrified and didn't know what was happening. Did you understand the story? Of course, the maid is also Iraqi, and she had been working for this woman for more than 20 years. The important thing is that the woman was in a state of shock, and they wanted to take her statement, asking her what happened. Didn't you see anything when he was at home? Where were you when he threw himself? She said, I was asleep. He came around such and such time, and between you and me, he is always drunk. Drunk. And indeed, even the guard confirmed, saying, actually, when he entered, and I saw him, when he went up to his apartment, the smell of alcohol was very clear on him, but he was composed enough to greet me. And shortly after, half an hour later, I felt there was a sound and a thud, and the sound of screaming, the sound of his scream while he was falling. When I went out, I found this body. They asked the wife, where were you? She said, when he came in this state, and I saw him in this condition, and we actually have problems, and I asked him for a divorce because of his drinking of alcohol, and he is always drunk and wasting our money and our wealth on alcohol and gambling, and he refuses to divorce me. So I got upset and went to my room, but he asked the maid to make him dinner and bring him a bottle of whiskey as well. The man doesn't repent, and I'm upset. And I left him and went into the room. They took the maid. Come here. You were the last one. What did you see? She said, I made dinner, and I actually brought him the bottle of wine, and I went to my room and slept, and I don't know what happened. They were confused. Did he throw himself while he was drunk? How? Why? Then, you see, this type, even if they get drunk. If they are used to drinking, they don't throw themselves. No one should fool you and tell you that someone who is drunk doesn't know what he's doing. Forget about this. Even a drunk person knows that if he throws himself, he will die. He knows. No, this is not true. Even a drug user knows that if he throws himself from up here, he will die and get hurt. He knows. So, rare cases say that, for example, he staggered and fell. It's possible, but it's considered rare. Here, the security men were confused. Is the wife telling the truth? Is the maid telling the truth? Well, what is the maid's motive to kill a man? So they ruled her out. The wife says that she was asking him for a divorce, and he was refusing. That's it. Is it reasonable for her to throw him from the apartment? And even the method of revenge is stupid. It's clear that she will be exposed. And from her words were actually that she was asleep, and they noticed when they came and knocked on the door that she was surprised and that she was sleepy. It was clear that she wasn't pretending. So, it was okay. Let's wait for the forensic report. And always the security men, if they are confused, their last resort is forensic medicine, and the analyses of the criminal evidence men, they can reveal a secret, or they saw something during their presence at the crime scene. And indeed, they waited, and the forensic report came to them. That the man actually died due to the impact on the ground, the effect of the fall. And there were no signs of a fight. There were no blows to his chest, or that someone was, for example, grappling with him. No. It's possible that he slipped, and he was actually drunk. It was evident in his blood a very high percentage of alcohol. But one of the criminal evidence men who collected the fingerprints and evidence or anything strange noticed something at the site. He said to the officer, the center officer, he said to him, frankly, there is one thing that is not considered definitive, but it is considered an indication of the presence of something that needs interpretation. He said to him, what is it? He said, we photographed the body and the site and so on. He says, I focused during my photographing of the body on the fingers of Khalid, the victim, because one of his fingers shows a very clear trace of a ring, but the ring was not there. And I searched the site well. I said, maybe the force of the impact caused the ring to fall off. But it's impossible, especially since the ring had left a mark, like a dent, on the man's finger. And this is evidence that the ring was tight and couldn't fall off due to the impact. And we searched the guard's room. We said, maybe the guard took it when he fell. I mean, he saw the body. Huh? I mean, was there a ring? He said, yes, indeed. So, focus on this matter. It might reveal something. I mean, lead you to any important information. She said, indeed. They summoned the guard and began investigating him. Why did you take the ring from the dead man's fingers? He swore and vowed to God that he didn't even approach the body and that he informed you and didn't speak to anyone. They searched his room thoroughly. They asked about him. Where did he go? Where did he come from? They said, maybe the next day he went and sold the ring or something or contacted someone. They saw that there was absolutely nothing that could indicate that he was the suspect. Looking for a ring. The important thing is that they obtained permission from the prosecution and requested a thorough search of the house. Indeed, the security men went with the same officer. They didn't inform Khalid's bereaved wife who was crying, because we entered the second and third day. They didn't tell her what they were looking for. They said, no, we just want to collect some fingerprints and evidence. And she said, go ahead. They entered the maid's room. They searched it, and they noticed a box under the bed. When they opened this box, there were regular accessories, but among the accessories was a men's ring, of heavy gold, a big ring like this. They took the ring, and it had the initials of his name, his wife's name, on it. They knew that this ring did not belong to the maid. They asked her, whose ring is this? She started crying. I have nothing to do with it. I found it here. Why didn't you say anything? And you know that this ring is a man's ring? Surely it belongs to Khalid. Didn't you used to clean Khalid's apartment, right? And Khalid's finger is missing it. When did you actually take it? She said to him, I found it in the house. He said, no, that's not true, because the mark on Khalid's finger is clear that someone just took it off him, meaning that whoever took the ring took it during Khalid's murder, took it from his finger by force, pulled the ring out. And it's clear that the ring was actually tight on him. How did you take it? Explain to us. Just when did you take the ring from his fingers? They were happy. They had now reached something that could open a path for them to uncover information and facts. The important thing is that the maid went back and forth, right, left. She said, I have nothing to do with the ring. I took it from my employer, who is Khalid's wife. They placed the blame on her. They took them both for investigation. Explain to us first. Of course, she denied it. It's not true. They said, okay, explain to us the nature of the relationship between you and your husband Khalid. So, she began to tell them. She said, Khalid was originally an accountant for my first husband. May God have mercy on him. He used to work as an accountant for him in his company, and after my husband's death, he started contacting me, and because he is an accountant, he is the one responsible for the company's savings, and he knows the accounts, he knows everything. So, I was impressed by him, and he proposed to me, and I agreed, and I married him. And I thought that he wanted to protect me, and help me, and relieve me of this responsibility, especially since he is knowledgeable and aware of the company. But it turned out the opposite after the marriage. He began to exploit this money that he takes from the company, and takes from me. And he always goes with it to gambling halls. And he is actually an addict, addicted to drinking alcohol. And I was upset with him, and I started asking him for a divorce. But he always refused to divorce me, especially on the last day he came. He was very drunk and didn't care about my crying and screaming and begging him to divorce me, and for me to get rid of him. And she said, I went into the room. I don't know what happened to him. He asked the maid to make him dinner, and I was surprised while I was sleeping, the security men knocking on my door. And here, I discovered that he fell from the balcony. He said, "So you don't know how he fell?" She said, "Absolutely not." They told her, "By the way, we found Khaled's ring with the initials of your name and his name on it, with the maid." She said, "Then the maid is behind this crime. I have nothing to do with his falling from the balcony. He was actually drunk, and they are investigating each one separately." They went to the maid, and this is the tactic that the investigators always use. He says, "So-and-so confessed against you," and he takes him, not knowing what's happening. Did he actually confess or not? But he thinks, if he confesses against me, he wants me to take the blame, me who was there the whole night alone, and he gets away. So the other one confesses. And this is what happened. They said to the maid, "She confessed against you. Your employer is the one who incited you, but you are the one who committed the crime." She started screaming, "It's not fair to her. I'm the one who helped her with the matter, but she is the one who threw him from the balcony." They said to her, "Good. Explain to us how the details happened, because she says that you are the one who committed the crime completely, and you are the one who stole the ring, and you are the one who threw him from the balcony, and she has nothing to do with the matter." She said to him, "I'll tell you the truth. He actually came drunk, and she, for a long time, there are problems between them, and she tells him, 'Divorce me,' and he refuses. And she got upset because he came drunk again and spent all his money and wants more money. So, he changed his clothes, put on his pajamas, and sat in the living room and actually asked me to make him dinner. But we had agreed to get rid of him. How? That she would distract him during her argument with him, and I would bring a sharp tool, like a cleaver, and hit him on the head from behind when he is busy arguing with his wife. And indeed, I hit him on the head from behind. And he was drunk, he started to get dizzy and stagger. So she held him and dragged him to the balcony and threw him from the balcony's railing itself. And to arrange the matter quickly, we wiped away any trace of blood or anything. And I went to sleep, and she went to sleep, so that if they informed us, we would pretend that we were surprised. And the biggest proof is that I didn't actually make him dinner. I just brought him the bottle of wine and put it in front of him while he was arguing with his wife, and he thought I was making him dinner. To be sure that her words are correct, when they searched the house, there was no food, no one had cooked, nothing like that. How does she say she made him dinner and I went to sleep? Anyway, it wasn't a long story. He said to her, "What about the ring?" She said, "When I hit him on the head and his wife held him and took him to the balcony and I tried to help her, I noticed the ring that was on Khaled's finger. Honestly, I coveted it. He is dead. Dead. So I ran to her while she was pulling him, she put him on the balcony, and I took the ring and pulled it off his finger by force. And I hid it in my room, and I saw her throwing him from the railing itself, of the balcony. I didn't expect that you would discover the existence of this ring. Oh, indeed, when they confronted the wife, she confessed with the same details precisely as the first one. The insight of a security man on the mark he saw on Khaled's fingers, they wouldn't have reached the matter of the ring, and little by little, they followed the path to reach the truth. We are talking about the case of a woman who is asking for a divorce because she is not able to continue living with this man, but the mistake and the big crime that she committed, which is unforgivable, she resorted to the solution of murder. She could have gone and filed a case in court, and they would have divorced her against his will. Prove that he is drunk, and he harms her, and he gambles, and the court would divorce them. Why kill him? Why assassinate him and go to hell? Or you, for example, refuse to divorce her and cling to her and go and find a solution, for example, to the problems between you and your wife, that you kill her. Why? Divorce her, and she is done with you. If there is no solution, if you see the matter has reached the point that she threatens you with death, and you threaten her with death, and you assault her, or she threatens you. Enough, my dear. It's not necessary, because if you kill her, You will not live happily. You will live in prison. You will spend your life in prison. You will eat garbage there. And you know what prisons are like? It's a life of hell. You live with monsters. You are exposed to rape. You learn drugs. You learn bad words, and a bad life, and bad habits. You are living with the evil of humanity inside the prison. I mean, you will not be comfortable when you kill her. Divorce her and live your life, my dear. Find yourself one maybe prettier than her, more beautiful than her, richer than her, because the world has many choices. And you as well, do not commit to harming this man. Go to the court, and that's it. You will find someone better than him, richer than him, more handsome than him, kinder than him, and everything. Because if you go to women's prison, you know what is there. There are mad women. There are psychological cases. There are troubles. May God protect you from the evil of this world. This is the end of the story. Goodbye. Farewell. Like, subscribe. Thanks for watching. See you soon with the next story.